how should we adjust the perfect service call for service techs with this low no contact push on service calls? Face-to-face time is tough. How do we present effectively?
Well, I think when you look at the four components of a perfect service call or an excellent service call, I think the fundamentals never change, right? I kind of think about it like the NFL, right? The sports analogies I like. They're talking about maybe getting back together and having some NFL games, and it may be in empty stadiums, but the fundamentals of the game aren't going to change, right? The blocking and the tackling. And so I think when you think about running the proper service call. Do the dynamics change a little bit? The length of time might change, yeah. But the fundamentals of building a relationship at the beginning of the call, the fundamentals of getting permission to bring additional problems to the homeowner's attention, those certainly don't change. Qualifying your time, the amount of time you require might change if you're doing abbreviated calls because of the situation with a particular homeowner who maybe isn't crazy about us in their house. But I'm still going to introduce myself, build my relationship, get permission to bring up additional problems and qualify my time, right? It just may be done at a different pace. When you go into the kind of the core of the service call, what I refer to as the mechanical magic, all the things we talk about, for example, the relative perceived value. One of the things we know is that the more that the homeowner is involved with the diagnostic, the more likely they are to accept your recommendations for the repair or whatever the situation is. I can go tell them about the startup current being high, but if I show them on my amp meter, they're going to get it way more and be way more likely to say, okay, yes, go ahead and fix that, right? Now, in this era, it may be that you're doing it on video versus showing the homeowner over your shoulder, and that's okay. So again, it may change in terms of the dynamic of how you do it, but the fact that you got to get your homeowner involved in the diagnostic doesn't change. It's just how you're going to get them involved may change. More video, more pictures, that type of thing, right? If you think about kind of what we talk about in the service tech training about not minimizing, not exaggerating, but not minimizing the problem. The example I often use, for example, is a family I met out playing golf on Maui a couple of years ago. It was a husband and wife and their grown son. He was in college, and I was riding with the son in my cart, and they were up ahead of us. And at one point in the day, I asked the kid, I said, what does your dad do? He goes, oh, my dad's a neuroscientist or neurosurgeon. I said, neurosurgeon? No kidding. And he Googles his dad for me and shows me his dad's like the most famous neurosurgeon in Canada, all over the magazines, all over, a big deal, this guy. So later on in the day, I'm talking to his dad, and I said, yeah, I understand you're a neurosurgeon. And he goes, yeah. And I said, it blows me away that you guys can like literally lay somebody down, like, knock open their head, go in there and slice and dice and sew stuff back, put it back together, staple it back together, and the person lives. That's like mind boggling to me. And the guy looks at me and goes, it's no big deal. I do it a couple of times a day. You see, when you do something a lot, it's no big deal, right? So when you see a nasty coil, it's no big deal. You see it every day. When you see rat feces in the attic with torn ductwork, I see it every day. But your homeowner doesn't. So you have the choice of saying, it's no big deal, Mr. Homeowner, I see it every day. Or you can say, oh my goodness, I never expected to see that today. Holy cow, I've never seen a coil this bad, right? So I have a choice. I can minimize the problem, or I can, really kind of, be dramatic about it. Again, I'm not talking about exaggerating or being dishonest, never. But you have a choice. I can look at that coil and minimize it, or I can, kind of dramatize it. That doesn't change. How I talk to the homeowner might change because I might be talking across the room, right? Or whatever, but the basic elements don't change. At the end of a service call, we want you to have a sit down, serious conversation with your homeowner, right? If you go see your doctor, he takes some blood tests and he calls you up and says, hey, I got your blood test back. You need to come in the office. We need to chat. Right away, it's something serious, right? Same thing on a service call. At the end of the service call, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you said to let you know if there's any issues. Well, I got some good news and some not so good news. Is there a place we can sit down and chat, right? Bum, bum, bum. They know it's a serious conversation. So you don't make your recommendations walking out with your tools like, oh, by the way, you should do this and this, right? You got to sit down and have a serious conversation so they know it's serious. Now, might that be further away? It might even be virtually. I guess potentially it could be virtually. But whatever it is, you have to create the environment that this is a serious conversation, not some half-cocked recommendations I'm making walk out to my van. So the fundamentals haven't changed. The way you do it, the dynamics, using video over face-to-face or whatever the situation is, social distancing, all those different things, those are all different dynamics now. But the fundamentals don't change. The what works on a service call in normal times is the same stuff that works now.